Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the KOR's 2015 World Table Tennis Championships here in Suzhou, China. We are at the men's singles round 4. This is the round of 16, as Ma Long will be facing Saehyuk, the Chinese player in black, world ranked #1. Top seed in the tournament is 26 years old. In orange, the defender, the legend, Saehyuk, is world ranked number 17, the 15th seed in the tournament, and 35 years old. But on screen, the man of conversation, the man we all expect to see moving on in his undefeated so far year to the finals in this event, and a good look at taking the World Championship for his first time. Should be an exciting showdown here. And on screen, Saehyuk, a legendary chopper, for years and years has been at the top of the game for the Korean national team. Played the finals in the 2003 World Championships, and after being diagnosed with a blood disorder, I believe, that thinned and left him tired. Real quick shout out to Neil Curtis, head umpire from England. After the blood disorder, Saehyuk took some time off, had retired from the sport, and came back last year. Little preparation, played the 2014 World Team Championships. And there's Lu Guoliang, Grand Slam winner and legend, coaching Ma Long in the Chinese corner. I'm Adam Bobrow, and with you this morning, and with me as well, Dong Wang. How you doing, Dong?
I'm doing fine, thanks to you, Adam. Yes, we are going to see some really brilliantly world-class encounter here, and these two actually know each other pretty well. And in the past, they competed with each other on numerous occasions. As you mentioned, we're very happy to see this veteran player, world-class chopper, to be around again, to come back after some hiatus, if you will. And that really actually surprised me a little bit. He is in such a good form right now again, and seeded in this tournament. And of course, for Ma Long, of course. By the way, we're going to have a retirement ceremony for him tonight, together with his former teammates Wang Hao and Wang Liqin.
All
for
the legends.
Ma Long, yeah, exactly. And these are Olympic champions. For Ma Long, of course, happy that he was on the Olympic champion squad in London. However, he needs to have a really heavyweight single title to prove his existence, so to speak. So this is the occasion here.
Just hooking back and missing wide on the backhand side of the table. Now head-to-head, Ma Long definitely the favorite here. Saehyuk has had his work cut out for him. Passed through Liam Pitchford last night in a 4-1 victory. Solid form, taking down the English player.
Yeah, but of course, where's Ma Long right now? And thanks to his early exit with Timo in the men's doubles, which was very unfortunate. In the second round, they actually ran into Ma Long's teammates Xu Xing and Zhang Jike. So he now could be really more focused on his singles because he is not playing the mixed E. That's his really responsibilities right now are not as wide-ranged as Xu Xing.
No, you said it. He's focused.
He's all over Xu Xing.
One-track mind right now. Ma Long
He's
in
hungry.
it to win it.
He is hungry for this title.
And despite his hunger, he cannot eat that ball as it bites the top of the net and stays right up against the side. Heavy, heavy backspin from Saehyuk. Now, Ma Long had a chance yesterday to get warmed up playing a defensive player, Panagiotis Gionis from Greece. And that was a 4-0 win for Ma Long. Despite the change in ball, favoring defensive players a little bit, little heavier ball, not as easy to generate as much spin. It still feels like the Chinese national team has a very strong record against defensive players.
For a lot of Chinese men's players, they actually, from the team there, they are not intimidated by choppers. They're very, very familiar with this style. For the women's team, it's a different story, like Ding Ning and Zhu Yiling. They're not happy, or they're not really that comfortable, although Zhu Yiling did very well with the chopper today. She's now through to the quarterfinals against the Liege of Netherlands today. She did a good job. And I'm just saying, for Ma Long there, with his powerful forehand, especially talking about his forehand there, topspin, side spin, that would give the many choppers a lot of troubles. That's why he's pretty comfortable dealing with choppers.
Right, and looking at the body language right there, Saehyuk a little bit of head shake. He's got a very strong forehand counterattack. It's actually one of the things that's made him one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful defender on the planet. So the threat of that forehand really keeps the opposing attacker honest on their over-the-table play when they try to leave it up on the table with a soft push shot.
Beautiful job done there by Malong. Again, down the middle of the table, very deep, forcing his opponent being so far away from the table. Wow.
So much power drives JOO Saehyuk way off into the backcourt, 2 times into the backhand corner, and then opens it up, exploiting the wide forehand. It's going to be tough from that far from the table to cover the ground, whether you're 35, 21, 18,
it's just
anything.
Incredible, yeah. The speed generated from Malong there, creating the angle so wide there.
And now we've got 8 game points for Malong.
And he's very patient, you can tell. He doesn't rush at all.
But that's a beautiful inside-out forehand. JOO Saehyuk brushing the inside of the ball, waiting, just snapping the wrist around the ball to get that extra bend on it. Fights off 1 game point so far.
That's right. That's also JOO's trademark there, counter-attack like that. And that's why he was actually in the Paris World Championships, the finalist there.
And still 6 game points for Malong in game 1.
Relentless from Malong there. Unbelievable with his powerful forehand smash.
It's an excellent attempt on the block from JOO Saehyuk on the forehand side, but Malong too strong, too steady right now. 11-4, a very commanding win in game 1. Stick around because game 2 is coming back just after this. And time is called. We're coming back for game 2, where Malong, the top seed and the world-ranked #1 player, is leading 1-0 over JOO Saehyuk, the legendary Korean chopper. We were talking a little bit about the difference between choppers in the men's and women's game, how the Chinese team handles it. One thing I'd like to bring up, for some of you who are a little newer to the sport, JOO Saehyuk using inverted attacking rubber on the forehand side, the red side of the racket, and the black side, defensive long pips, slows down the ball, reverses the spin. And sometimes one of my favorite shots I've seen from JOO Saehyuk is when he turns the racket around, twiddling it and blocking it back from close to the table with the inverted on the backhand.
Yes, indeed. He does use a lot of variations there to, so to speak, confuse his opponents.
And one of the most strong variations that a chopper can have is creating a ball that's not only heavy under spin, but also a floating, lighter spin chop that looks very similar in the delivery and the motion.
That's why table tennis is such a beautiful game, a sport, really. I mean, even if you read very carefully, not only your opponent's body language, but also, I'm just saying, the slight moves there.
Right, the
you
wrist.
might not be able to read it thoroughly, and you can still get confused or get actually fooled.
And even there, as far as fooled goes, Malong was not fooled. He well anticipated the step around attack and blocked it completely cross court to the deep forehand corner. No chance for JOO Saehyuk to recover that. And you can see in the legs of JOO Saehyuk, even at 35, he's clearly in excellent shape.
Oh, he trains very hard. He's one of the most diligent players I've ever seen on earth, really, and very self-disciplined. And, you know, he actually is very familiar with the Chinese players. He played in Chinese Super League on many occasions, representing Shandong, for example, at the club level. So he speaks a little bit Mandarin, and especially from Shandong geographically, it's so close to Korea, and nothing to him is that strange, and really hard-working player.
Absolutely. One of the kindest, too. If you have a chance to talk to him, he's absolutely friendly. Was talking to him yesterday.
Very polite.
It's polite and kind.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost as if everybody's a person, and even though he's a major superstar internationally, you wouldn't know that if you just met the guy.
Let's try to do a long serve there, reverse spin. Went just too long.
And of course, as far as physical conditioning goes, as a defender, so much footwork is necessary. You're typically spending more time far from the table, moving in and out much more than an attacker.
That's right. You know, the training session could be so rigorous, and you have to train in so many sessions, including your attacking.
Right.
You cannot just be a passive defender.
Right.
I mean, in the past, of course, Korea got two world-class choppers. I mean, from the men's side, you have JOO, who is still active. And from women's side, you have Kim Jung-ah, who, of course, officially has retired.
And now in her wake, Saehyuk has done quite well. Saehyuk playing through, I believe, was a finalist at the World Tour Grand Finals in Thailand for ITTF in 2014.
JOO digging very hard. The acceleration of speed there from Ma Long worked out and paid off.
Right, it seemed like the timing for Saehyuk, ball came in a little bit lower, deep to the backhand, and that was sort of a half chop. It looked like he was almost trying to float it back, but just get there first was the issue.
Right.
Half long touch shot from Ma Long. Ball right in the middle. You could see that Saehyuk was tempted to make the attack if he could, and then changed his mind, tried to play defensively.
There you go. You see his counterattack there. Ma Long's close to body shots really work very effectively. Obviously, JOO felt a little bit jammed there.
As far as expended energy, even on the attack, it seems like when Saehyuk's really forcing himself to make several forehands in a row, it's just blocking practice for Ma Long.
Short one.
10-3. And now it's 7 game points for Ma Long to go up 2 games to 0. On defense and on offense, right now, Saehyuk is just not as threatening as he wants to be.
Not working well. And Ma Long has been very, very patient. Not only that, as consistency of the his precision is right there.
Well, Ma Long, one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent player on the planet, and the most unbeaten player on the planet right now. But that's 2-0. We'll be back for game 3 just after this short break. Time. And as the players come back for game 3, Ma Long is leading 2 games to 0. A total of 7 points have been earned by Saehyuk so far. We were talking before, Dong, about how Saehyuk, when he was forced to attack, it just looked like he was maybe at 75 or 80%. They weren't finishing shots. It was a tiresome task. Ma Long's blocks all deep on the table.
Yeah, making JOO very uncomfortable. Really, he cannot just force himself to do the counterattack, and he has to be in a very comfortable position for JOO right now. And this doesn't happen very often on a very awkward defensive end. But this one actually, poor return from Ma Long. Well, he was trying to do the drop shot there. It was just like
lighter underspin, a little bit lighter than usual.
Giving the opponent a lot of time to come back.
Absolutely. And when you make a great chop like that low to the net, it's an excellent time to come running back in, especially if you know there's light underspin on it. You might get a higher receive. Saehyuk creeping his way back in. Oh, gets the opportunity, but cannot put it away. And you could see shot after shot, he was replanting closer and closer to the table, the threat becoming more and more impending.
Inching in, but really rushed that point a little bit, finishing it too strong. He has to stay in contention, not to be totally extended with a lead from Ma Long, and then that was the situation of the two previous games. No chance for him to come back, but this one he really would like to stay close.
Well, he started off with the first 2 points of this game, then lost the next 2. So far, serves have been taken for points by both players. And from a strategy standpoint, while Ma Long at 26 years old has had a lot of experience internationally, is playing as much as possible, JOO Saehyuk at 35 years and playing overseas in different leagues, definitely a very wise player.
Let's also face it, and his comeback also has a lot, talking about JOO's comeback, has a lot to do with the declining situation of the men's team of the Korean side, and that actually triggered his comeback as well, especially after Woo Sang-ying's retirement and also the reshuffling situation of the coaching team from the Korean squad. A lot of things are happening, and right now the head coach of the men's team has become Under Han of Korea now.
Oh, interesting. Well, that was a ripping backhand there from the long pips side. JOO Saehyuk, very difficult to return such a flat hit from over the table with the long pips. As far as the Korean coaching squad goes, I know Yoonam Kyu, the national hero and 1988 Olympics gold medalist, the first men's singles gold medal in the Olympics, had been running the program for a while. Seen Kim Tak-soo around at many tournaments with the team.
Right.
But yeah, we're seeing a lot of new faces here.
In fact, the current men's head coach used to be in that position, and then he was replaced by Kim Tae-jo and others. And obviously, he's coming back, and not the one we see right now, but the head coach. And he married a Chinese world-class champion, Zhao Jimin, and they have a son who is a golfer professionally.
Well, right now, the commitment from JOO Saehyuk, I mean, he really stepped around that ball, went all in. The block back to the open table. That's the risk you run when you go all in if the opponent can bring it back. It's the right idea. JOO Saehyuk gets a side spin chop. Might be a little bit more difficult for Ma Long to read or handle. And then he comes running right back into the table looking for the forehand opportunity.
Really good try. Just came short.
It's going to be finding that balance of attack and defense. JOO Saehyuk's been struggling with it a bit, but a better start this game.
You can tell that in this game is much more closely contested.
He's already broken his record so far by 2 points. His high score so far in a game was 4 points in game one. So they're tied up at 6 each at the second towel break. And JOO Saehyuk showing not only how much this is a thinker's game, but how much experience and clever play he has. He's got answers to change. He's got to adapt regardless of what's coming at him. And he's got the toughest match he will have this tournament.
Well, this could be really the turning point if Ma Long actually captures this one again. So there will be really a passing the point of no return, basically, for JOO. Very difficult for him to come back. You don't see Ma Long that often to lose 3 or 4 games in a row. That doesn't happen that often.
And now the timeout is called. Ma Long really finding the legs there, hitting it right into the body. It's an amazingly difficult task. Choppers have the fastest feet. I mean, really, the leg strength of a defensive player. You can see it through history. Koji Matsushita from Japan. The legs of a defender, just incredible. So if you can hit it and actually get them caught in the way of the ball like Ma Long did on that last shot, credit to the attacker, my goodness. So on this timeout, Dong, what are you telling JOO Saehyuk right now, down 7-6 in a closely contested third game after losing the first 2 so persuasively?
I guess in this game, in this particular one, the third one, he really has changed a little bit and more willing to come out to do the counter-attack. He still needs to have to give this kind of pressure to Ma Long. And obviously, as we mentioned, prior to this tournament, really, the Chinese side usually tends to do their final tune-up prior to any big moment like this, prior to their big tournaments like World Cup or World Championships and Olympics. And this is the time for them to shine, really, to come out on top, because they're really in their best form after more than a month of closed-door training. And right here, right now, and they really are so ready. And they really, many would say that they do the same thing prior to big games and big tournaments. But the Chinese side definitely would do the best closed-door training in that sense, like military training, military camp training. So at this stage, Ma Long is totally still in control of the game, and very difficult to shake him.
Excellent shot, and right out of the timeout, we were curious to see how the game of JOO Saehyuk would change. You and I both agree that he's going to have to be staying as close as possible to come back in and make the attack, and right there he does it for the point. Well placed into the body of Ma Long, tied back up at 7 points each.
Definitely see that he's more aggressive than the first two games.
8-7.
And at that timeout, they both used the entire minute, and even after time was called, there were some words while walking away.
Because from Ma Long's point of view, his coach Liu Guoliang saw that coming, that the opponent has been trying very hard to do the counterattack. Down the middle again. See, that's great, well placement. A good, you know, everything is well placed there by Ma Long. Two down in the middle, so deep, and plus the powerful forehand to finish it off.
Right, it's interesting, the timing of the JOO. From our angle, the ball was still in the air. Tough to tell if it could come back, but from where Ma Long is standing, he knew he had hit a winner. Heavy underspin deep to the middle. It's rare, a very rare occasion that we see Ma Long loop it into the net so far in this match.
By far in this game, this is the probably the most contested, closely contested moment. The previous two were just simply one-sided.
Right, no question about it, Dong. Little break off the top of the net, and it stays low enough that even Captain Long himself cannot get in and under it. Now it's tied up at 9 points each. Ma Long is going to have the last two serves in a row that this game will see.
A lot of underspin there.
Right, in slow-mo, you could even see the logo on the ball as it turned after coming off the top of the net. Some people say it's difficult to read how much spin is left on the ball based on where it contacts the net, how hard it contacts the net. Ma Long has shown very impressive ability to recover it. Jun Mizutani as well yesterday.
That's a beauty there, changing the direction, going after the opponent's backhand there. A lot of power there.
And the placement's so smart. With that much power, you can definitely drive the opponent off the table, keeping JOO Saehyuk far from, way deep in the forehand side, and then exploit the backhand corner. And despite the last 2 points going the way of JOO Saehyuk, Ma Long has just earned himself a game point in game 3.
Well, look at the powerful forehand there. 3 in a row and changing the tempo a little bit, Ma Long. Acceleration again there. See, he's really trying so hard to mix things up and to confuse JOO, and he succeeded in doing that.
Right, we're looking for opportunities here for JOO to lighten it up, to spin it a little more softly deep on the table, come running in for the attack, but not at one point could he find that opportunity here at 10-9. So 11-9, they're getting closer and closer, but Ma Long takes the lead 3-0 over JOO Saehyuk. Stick around to see what happens in game 4 just after this short break. And as we come back for game 4, Ma Long is leading 3-0 over the Korean defender JOO Saehyuk. Don't forget, you can be submitting your questions on Twitter. Hashtag #AskTheCommentator. Hashtag #AskTheCommentator. Send it in. Yeah, it's a little tongue twister for me.
Indeed, indeed. But during the interval just now, Liu Guoliang was asking Ma Long again to read the returns very, very carefully, especially the some of the floaters there, and you know, non-spin the return. And Ma Long needs to be more focused in a way to say, to actually be on top of the game, and especially when the Zhu Saehyuk was pushing the ball for long return. Usually, according to Liu Guoliang's judgment, it might be a floater, and so Ma Long should utilize that opportunity and try not to be intimidated rather, in that sense. And of course, Liu Guoliang is very happy with the tempo Ma Long is actually using right now to mix things up.
Deep, heavy spin from the backhand side, deep into the backhand corner. And now the Korean defender up 2 points to 1 in game 4. And just to honor the questions from the fans, Mimi wrote on Twitter, is it just me, or is the home crowd relatively quiet compared to previous years? There are no drums, chants, etc. Well, I guess it's tough to say.
It's not that quiet here. Just that probably, you know, the stadium itself is pretty sizable, right? I mean,
and it's a work day.
Over.
It's the afternoon on a work day. In the evening last night, people were going crazy for all sorts of stuff, between a fan being dragged out here by security or Wang Liqin sitting in front of me for commentary. The fans pulling out cameras left and right. I mean, it was just chaos.
But one correction, though, it's not actually, it's not a work day in China.
Oh.
It's the Friday, actually, May the 1st is the International Labor Day. That's why people are having a long weekend here.
Ah,
so you will see a larger crowd later when more Chinese are coming out to play. Wow, beautiful block in there from Ma Long. Good anticipation.
And you saw him vocalize. It means a lot. He knows how important every point is. Does not want to have to play another game against Zhu Saehyuk. Well planted in the middle, anticipates and blocks it back out to the open court. And I think we're going to be seeing more and more fans spill in today. Still pretty early in the day if you're just watching, just tuning in right now.
Indeed.
Again, timing of the day. Sometimes Thursday night people go out, do things late, still asleep maybe.
Well, yesterday evening was really the beginning of the long weekend, holiday weekend for Chinese people, especially they have it's a 3-day, they call it mini weekend.
And look at that backhand. Unbelievable shot on 1 foot, comes in and swats it.
The speed he gave himself was unbelievable. Check it out here.
And sure enough, with the long pips, when the ball's just a little bit high, he can flat hit right through it. Well placed.
Oh, good anticipation. What a coverage there from... Unbelievable from Ma Long's side. Look at that, the coverage there.
You know, Zhu Saehyuk is not finding a hole. It has to be really close to the net and high for him to put it away right now. I think the only shot we've seen work on the rushing and attack, at least with any consistency, is the cross-court inside-out forehand from Zhu Saehyuk.
Ma Long is so confident right now.
And running back in, sometimes even in theory, if you don't have a plan, which of course Zhu Saehyuk does, running back into the table creates the pressure, gets in the head of the opponent, and sometimes affects their shot. You know, Ma Long taking that loop might be thinking, I better keep this extra low and spinny.
Good service there.
Ma Long serves very deceptive, subtly so. They're not flashy serves, nothing too out of the ordinary, even on the pendulum or the reverse pendulum, but they're very subtly different.
Yeah, really deceiving in a way. And with one gesture, seemingly, Eddie, you give a lot of different spins, side spin, top spin.
That's right. A lot of players even work on their stopping almost at the point of contact, so the follow-through doesn't give much away. We've seen the opposite. We've seen after motion, where someone will contact the ball and quickly wiggle their racket the opposite direction or some irrelevant direction. Once the ball leaves the surface of the racket, you can no longer change the spin. You could do a dance. You could do the Zhangji Ke pose. By the way, submit your pictures, hashtag do the Zhangji Ke for a chance to win a signed racket from Zhangji Ke. ITTF's Facebook page should give you an idea of what that looks like if you're not already familiar.
Pushing his opponent once again so far from the table. Relentless attacking, juice backhand. after forehand attacking. And actually, in the team itself, the Chinese, star-studded lineup there, Ma Long is one of the best players who knows how to deal with a world-class chopper.
Pretty much the best player for everything,
really
right?
rest for sure that he can place him right there to be with a chopper in the men's team event, for example. And the other one who does pretty well is actually Wang Hao in the past. Of course, he is retired. Zhang Jike could struggle a little bit with a chopper, and just depending on his mood, of course.
Can I pick your brain a little bit on the history? Chinese male players from the top 4 or so losing to choppers. What's the last one you can recall, Dong?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
Because when I think of
maybe losing to the teammates, but not to a foreign play in the
yeah, I can't recall one. I mean, Saehyuk beat Ma Long twice, once in 2009 and once in 2007 as far as ITTF Pro Tours go. I think the confidence from the Chinese players against defenders is quite outstanding. Ma Long, the best person to play almost anybody, having the best record of any player in the Chinese national team. Crushing forehand, a little break off the top of the net for some help, but the initiation from the backhand of Saehyuk is what got him in position to be on the attack in the first place. And there he is, right at the table, and look how the tables have turned. Ma Long chopping.
I was about to say exactly, like how many times do you see that happen, really? And a chopper becomes an attacker, so close to the table, using his forehand there. Again, the fourth one also has become very closely contested.
And this time it's Saehyuk with the lead at 8-9, Ma Long serving.
For a change. Very solid defense there from JOO.
Just missing the back edge of the table, and Saehyuk looking for every moment he can to creep back into the table. Created a good opportunity for himself mid-rally there, but Ma Long playing the high-risk shot inside out to the backhand to earn the point. And now Saehyuk's going to have the last 2 serve combo with the 3rd towel break this game, a chance to dictate the points a little bit. It's been risky on the step around. Almost every time he's stepped around for the past 3 or so, it's been blocked back out of reach for Saehyuk. I think with that attack, he's going to have to go deep to the backhand, some inside out, something a little funky. We'll see what tricks he's got up his sleeve for a serve at this crucial point in the match. Wet mark on the racket, saw it in the close-up. Ma Long from the other side of the table able to see it. Very honest, sportsmanlike play. If you're the server and the ball's wet, it's your fault. You cannot appeal the point or replay it. Again, finds the shins of Saehyuk and has to do a dance to get out of the way, creating a very difficult shot from down low and back. And now it is match point for Ma Long, the world ranked #1 and the top seed in this tournament.
So aggressive here, so focused to get this point, pushing his opponent far away from the table, close to body shot again, and it worked so well in his favor. Match point, Ma Long.
And he does it to the backhand side this time after a strong flip from over the table and a block right off the bounce with the long pips. Saehyuk really fighting to hang in there for that point. And he could use a good 1-minute talk in the corner right now, but he still has 2 points to go. Has to make 2 clear points to win this game and move on to see a 5th. We're at deuce in game 4, Ma Long with the serve. Break off the top of the net, the heavy chop shorter to the forehand side, and Ma Long having a bit of trouble with it. It is a game point for the first time this match for the Korean chopper, Saehyuk.
He was very, very smart in that sense. Did you see the way he chopped, to the 2 different corners right there? The creation was right there in order to really maneuver Ma Long a little bit. Ma Long was hitting that one a little bit late.
Big forehand, and again
so
down the
aggressive.
backhand line. Saehyuk really picking the smart placement on the table. He's discovering a little bit of an opening here in the game of Ma Long. There aren't many flaws, but he's finding his best chances out here. And by the narrowest of margins, 12-10, Saehyuk takes the 4th game and lives to see another game. Stick around to see it yourself. Game 5 coming up just after this.
볼에 대해서 너무 민감한 거 하지 마. 응?
And as we come back for game 5, Saehyuk on the board with the game, down 1-3. Ma Long struggling in the end there, deuce in game 4. And as we were talking about briefly over break, Saehyuk finding a bit more success with the loops and the attack shots deep into the backhand corner, especially after following a forehand attack shot.
But the difference was obvious in the past 2 games. Ju really stayed very aggressive in the last 2 games and more willing than ever to come out to actually attack his opponent. And he certainly has been trying very hard to refuse to be actually swept away like that.
Right. Just missing wide after Ma Long blasted down the short side of the table on the backhand side, right on the line. Now, as far as the attack game, one key ingredient here, a defender, much like an attacker, wants to stay as close to the table as they can so that they are a threat. And that's one thing that Saehyuk has made a very conscious effort to do, is staying as close to the table as possible so he can turn and be threatening.
And Ma Long obviously has sensed this kind of threat from Ju, getting to be in a better form, more willing to come to the table and close to the table to attack as well. And once you really picking up your confidence, obviously, the other will sense it very quickly, and Ma Long feels that way. He doesn't really want the game or the match itself to slip away from his fingers. Remember, he was actually 3 games up, and the last one, he was just like 2 points away from taking the victory.
Right, as you mentioned, the confidence, I feel like there's a big psychological battle here. Even if no playing is going on in theory, a player comes to the table confident, the opponent can feel that confidence, and it might make them less confident just seeing that. And of course,
sometimes of being dubious about yourself.
Definitely happens.
Look at Saehyuk. What a beauty there. Forehand, 2 in a row.
Yeah, and it looked like Ma Long was expecting it to come back to the backhand a little bit. You could see him start to turn. Sure enough, he does. That's the pattern that seems like the obvious choice for Saehyuk. And it's sort of like the rock, paper, scissors. Nice play right down the line. This time exiting the side of the table. But the rock, paper, scissors thing, Saehyuk wants to go to the backhand, but if he sees Ma Long preparing for it, he's going to go right back to the old ways of the forehand. It's a dance. You've got to adapt to what your opponent's bringing to the table in the present moment, not the past, but what you're dealing with right now, this point.
That keeps going on. Liu Guoliang probably, Ma Long's coach will call for a timeout. Let's just see how it fares now. 3 apiece here in the 5th game. There you go. And more willing to come out to do the counter-attack. The Korean guy is definitely a fighter. Don't write him off yet.
So that's deep on the table, a little flat, but it's the fast block back, the counter to the forehand side rather, that gets Ma Long a little bit off balance, chasing the ball on defense to keep it into play, and then opening up the backhand side of the court. Just missing. Tough for me to tell. I was waiting to see if anyone pointed to an edge on that, but sure enough, it missed, and it's tied back up at 4 points each in game 5. It's quite interesting to see how JOO Saehyuk is really on the prowl, sort of pouncing on the ball, looking for any opportunity, how his game has changed when he chooses to attack, but it's a much higher percentage right now. Almost recovers the top of the net. Thought we'd see a little apology there. It was a faint net grazing from Ma Long, but he is pumped up, fist clenched. He knows he needs every point he can get right now.
Again, attacking his opponent down the middle there, very deep at the table to create some chances for himself.
Opportunity, and after such an effort running all over the crowd, gasping shot after shot on that, and Lu Guoliang on his feet. Look at that ball blocked back into play. JOO Saehyuk, the serve fooled him a bit, had a good look at that last ball, but it's difficult when you can't create spin with the long pip side of the racket. I think that's absolutely the right shot selection, but it's still a lot of pressure to make that shot.
Certainly one of the best points here throughout this match, and really very patient from both sides. And JOO got a chance there. He knew that he blew it.
How does that shot come back? I mean, JOO Saehyuk waits patiently for it to come off the table and spins it to the shortest part of the table. Ma Long breaks at the last moment, and look at that ball.
I would say just with instinct, really. And also, this is something they've been training so hard to create something, you know, from impossible to make it possible. A good answer, cross court.
That's got to be world #1 and only world #1 capable of such play.
Prompt response there from Ma Long. But certainly you can tell that Ma Long is facing a more accurate and more willing to come out South Korea now here. And the guy is really changing his tactics from the previous 2 games up to this point.
Right, and one change I've noticed anyway is that JOO Saehyuk is doing a lot of variation on his pushes. When he comes running into the table but yet can't attack, sometimes he does a little faster, flatter pushes deep into the backhand. Sometimes they're a little heavier spin, but he's keeping him deep, trying to change the placement. Really sees the opportunity while he's close to the table to earn a turnaround shot with the forehand.
And also, you feel that rhythm-wise, he is more into his own rhythm and tempo. He doesn't want to be dictated by Ma Long, and that really works now. And Ma Long needs to stay cool in a sense. You know, he's losing his accuracy percentage-wise, forcing Lu Guoliang to call timeout.
This is the timeout you were talking about earlier this game, Dong. Lu Guoliang is going to have to remind Ma Long about the patience. I mean, he's clearly got the power.
There you go. Lu Guoliang saying exactly what we mentioned. You should be very patient. You cannot rush things to force it to happen.
It's always encouraging to feel that you're sharing the thoughts of Lu Guoliang from up here.
This is great. You know, he's such a great coach. He really can see through. He's been there. He's done that. He's a Grand Slam winner. See that? He said that your tempo has been broken by your opponent. You have to really dictate a tempo there. You take it easy. I'm doing the simultaneous translation here.
No, this is good. Your Mandarin's better than mine.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. Kochi.
Oh, there you go. How to say that in French, though?
De rien.
De rien. You're right. Your Mandarin is picking up, or you're improving.
My French and my Mandarin are at about 0.0001%.
Again, paying attention to your receives as well. In other words, when you, especially when you paying attention to your returns, and He's using some different spins there, and Liu Guoliang is asking Ma Long also to stay very close to, pay close attention to the returns there. And especially, more important than anything else, Liu is saying that you got to settle down with your mindset. Don't let him take your right and take you actually away from your own rhythm. And that's the thing. That's the key here.
And Ma Long has shown that he's ready to settle down and start a family out here. Very calm, right into the middle on the first opportunity with the forehand attack.
Well, after all, he's still leading. Even, let's just say, using the subjective mood here, he loses this one, he still has a chance. I'm just saying, Liu Guoliang is absolutely right. You need to actually dictate the tempo here in order to lead a parade. He was really affected by JOO's speed there.
We haven't seen a lot of points ending that quickly. Ma Long pulling out some tricks, focusing. This is the dictation that you and Liu Guoliang were talking about.
2 points away from his victory here and a ticket in the quarterfinals. That was really a good timeout for Liu, and that really settles him quite a bit now. He has changed, don't you feel?
Absolutely.
That way, you know, he's more
3 in a row.
settled.
And now 4 match points for Ma Long. Smart play from Ma Long. He takes his shot, waits for the opportunity, and puts it away and right out of the timeout. 4 points in a row for the world rank #1, Ma Long, as he moves on to continue the dream in his chase and his quest to capture the world championship here in Suzhou, China. Outstanding performance from the 35-year-old father of 2 from Korea. World rank #17 chopper, JOO Saehyuk. What a pleasure, but Ma Long will be moving on, as you said, Dong.
A lot of
to
credit
the next
to
round.
the coach of Liu Guoliang as well. That really timely timeout broke the rhythm of the Korean, and actually given his player Ma Long a chance to really finish it off in style. There you go. They're very happy. They're talking over. Congratulations to Ma Long.
Little recap, it was 11-4, 11-3, 11-9, then Ma Long lost 10-12 and winning 11-6 in Game 5. He'll have a chance to rest up and recuperate for the quarterfinals. Enjoy watching some of the highlights here, slow-mo replays of an outstanding match, and stick around because we've got a day full of more excitement for you. I'm Adam Bobrow with Dong Wong. We look forward to having you back for the next match.